Now today I want to talk about the 501S, H501ss. It is one of the hottest drones that I think Hubsan has put out. Why I say that? Because it's probably 5 or 6 years old that they've been making it, and they're still making them, they're still selling them, and they have came down in price, and they're still competing with the multitude of drones on the market today. For higher, for less, they still have their place. And those who got them sometimes will buy one more than one. It's a great drone. It's a lot of fun to fly. It's smooth, it's operational. It's a GPS drone, brushless motors. It has all the basics that you want to have in a drone. And it looks awesome too. It's got some real class too about it, which means something when you put it out in the air. What I want to talk about today is the case that I got, how I use it, and what I put in it, and maybe give you some ideas of how I set mine up to maybe a little different than yours, to get good distance, get good control. It's all about being able to go out there and fly comfortably, and that's all I want to talk to you about today and show you how I did it with my case. First off, starting out with the case. The case it's got an aluminum frame on it. It's a hard cord inside. It's a hard case. It looks like a suitcase, and it is, like, you know, but it's all padded inside. And the beautiful thing about it is it's made for this drone. So the drone fits in there appropriately. You don't have to worry about cutting out too much, anything at all. And you find these little spots and you really put almost everything you want in it. Let's take a look at a few of the things and how it goes. Number one is this little bag here. Because you can't put the propellers on the drone and have it in here with the box. You could put two, but it's not worth it to do that in case you pinch it or something. So I keep the propellers in this little bags just so they all stay together, and my tool that unlocks and locks it is also on there. The drone itself fits perfectly right in this position right there. When you close it up in the back, it's, again, take a look at that. It's an awesome looking drone. It just really is. The way it goes through the air is so thin line, it flies through the air really well. Now, there's no gimbal on this, so the camera gimbal, there is none. So it's like airplane mode. So if you any other drones, it might say, when you fly it, it is just like being in an airplane. If it moves like this, so does the camera move like this. But you're on a calm day and with good control, you can get some pretty good shots. The camera in it's a 1080p camera. Now, there's nothing wrong with the 1080p camera. In fact, more things that you can do with the 1080p camera. That's all you need for YouTube and many, many other applications. But it gives great color, I think great contrast and rich colors. And you'll see some as we do this video here. And it works great. You know, it's really nice to be able to pop out and take out for a flight. Now, the other thing that's kind of nice is there's not proprietary batteries. These batteries you can get online just about everywhere, and what they are is they're a 7.4 volt, 10C, 20 watt, and they work really well. They lock in there pretty good, they snap together, and you can get 20-minute flight time. I actually can get 20-minute flight time, even flying it pretty roughly, without a doubt, which is something that that you end up doing because you're a pilot. The other thing, this will also fit. Here's the charger. And here's with the coordinate, I have that. It's a nice little place to put that. It locks in there good. I rarely ever use it, but it's nice if I'm someplace else and I'm not at home, because at home I got a charger that charges these type of batteries, which I duly like. Now the other thing you're going to have, I suggest, is this charger here. Here's the actual charger unit. That's the block here, and they work. I think they're a little slow. It takes a while to get it up to charge, but they do work. Here's this little gadget here, and I hope I can get that in the camera here. You can see a really good shot of it. But this little item right here is a battery checker. Now, you can do a lot of things with this battery checker, but the number one thing you do is to check the battery. So you know how much juice you got before you take out flying or when you come back. And what you do is you start out with the black. On the one edge, it has a little digital readout here. And when I plug this in there, it's going to be pretty loud. I don't know how it is on the mic. But when I plug that in there, it gets really, really loud, and it shows me the voltage. It shows, number one, it's 2 cell on these batteries, and there's 7.4 total. So there's 3.7, 3.75. It's showing me each one plus the total voltage. So the reason it's like 3.5 or 3.6 in here is because they're in storage mode. You don't want to keep these batteries at 100%. You always want to have them in storage mode. That way they'll last longer, you have less problems with them, and all the way around it's the way to keep them. Charge them up before you're going to go out flying. Charge them 100%, go out and fly, and then keep an eye on it. When you come back, check. 9 times out of 10, I can go out and do a really good flight with the full battery, and then when I come back from that flight, it's almost at 7.6, which is right about where I want it. So I don't even have to do anything by charging it up or bringing it down. That's one of the better things to do it for sure. You know, the other thing that came out shortly after this drone came out is a unique little watch controller. This is a GPS watch. It actually has and can do everything your main controller can do. One step better is because it's so tiny that you can actually, and the nicest thing about it is it does. You can fly it. You can do everything you can on this. You just don't have the distance, of course. And you don't have exactly the same control, but you ain't going to lose your drone. You can move it up, down, sideways, move it any place you want to move it, and it works quite well. You'd have to learn a little bit about it before you go out. You don't go out until you got it under control, but you've got good control of the elevation, how fast you're going forward, backward, side, just like you would. But the nicest thing about it is it can do circle mode and it can do follow mode. And the unique thing is you can put this on your wrist, set it up for circle or follow mode, and then you can start walking, and here's this drone following you, and absolutely nobody knows that's you. It's following you. It's like somebody comes up and says, "You see that drone?" I says, "Yeah, I know, it's been following me all day." You know, I mean, it's that kind of thing. It does not, you're not usually with the drone for follow me, and everybody in the world knows you're carrying this drone and it's following you. So that's kind of unique. It's something to have. I think on Amazon it's like $30. So, I mean, if you're into this and a little crazy like me, you'll get one and use it every so often. Not a lot, but it's kind of unique. Probably one of the biggest improvements you can make on this drone is in the remote control. You have a lot of opportunity to put new antennas on it, external antennas, to give you better distance, better control, and they're quite easy to put on and install. Most people, you can actually buy a kit now that will add these antennas to your drone, and there's probably 100 videos on how to do it on YouTube, without a doubt, and they all will help you all through the steps. There is one thing, though, that I want to show you that I did differently than what others have done. And not that what they did was wrong or anything, but that I think works out a little bit better. Most everybody puts it on their top right here. They put the antennas through this little block. It looks like there's a little knockout, and I'm sure that's why they do it. And then they run the cord and so forth according to the mainframe there. Not a problem, it works well. Except every time that they want to fly, they have to take their drone unit and they have to bend this back so it's up perpendicular to your drone. And here, parallel to your drone, you won't want to do that. You don't want to have to do that. If you put it on top, it stays up nice and straight, and wherever you go, it goes with it. The other thing you want to do is get a screen. This screen was additional. It comes with a screen, but it comes with a screen that you can't really put in the case, and it's difficult. So this screen is like only $10 or whatever, but really helps a lot. I also made what I call a chimney that slides over this, and now it gives a little depth. So I'm really in a bright day, it's kind of hard to see that screen for sure, and then you can see the depth or the height, the altitude you're at, and how far away. You can catch a lot of things that you wouldn't need. You'll be able to get that shot. Now, of course, it has your camera on one side and your video on the other side, easy clicks to make that work. And it has a basic controller like any other controller you use. Now, the other thing it has two switches on the top in this particular model. One is for GPS and the other one's to come home. So if you get your drone right out there and you lose control on this, fortunately it has a failsafe. I can't tell you that works because I've never went to that distance to have that happen. But the home button I have used, got out there, tried it, make sure it works, hit the home button, and it comes back. Now this particular firmware in this, it goes back to the controller. If you lose control, the connection, it will go back to your home start part where you first started the drone off. So keep that in mind. If you move around and whatever, I kind of like that actually, because if I'm flying the drone, and sometimes I'm walking a riverbank or whatever, I can have the drone come back to me, and I'm pretty sure it will. If I lose a little bit of visual sight or I'm not sure, I'll have it come back to me. So I like that part of it for sure. But if you have good you lose connection, it's going to go back to wherever you started that. So keep that in mind. But the other thing, it's got a GPS. Now this is kind of unique because a lot of drones don't have a GPS where you can disconnect it, turn it off. You turn on the GPS or turn off the GPS. And of course the GPS, when you put that in, that comes up and that works with the satellites, and it says you have 6 or more. Get as many as you can. Be patient. Let you get yourself 12, 13, 14, whatever possibly you can get in the area you're at. The more you have, the better it is to fly. It's easier to fly. It's more stable. It holds together good. You don't have to worry about that. So when you flick this switch, so you say, well, Mike, why would you want to check the switch off? Well, there's times you do. When you make a video and you want to make a nice slow stop and go, well, the GPS is going to stop that abruptly and make your drone go like this. Now, we don't have on this the 3-axis gimbal, so our drone goes like this, our camera goes like this. So if you turn off the GPS and then you go, and now when you hit the brakes to stop, it will stop slowly, it will go out. But you have to be cautious because if the wind hits it, the wind's going to move it too. So you have to be a little bit more careful when you're flying with it, but you can do some really unique and nice flowing shots that doesn't have that GPS interruption that stops you, jerks you out, go back and forth. The other thing you can do without the GPS is you can get more speed because it's not fighting the GPS signal as it goes along. The biggest thing is to play with that in a wide open area, you know. Almost everybody says, because a lot of you out there are getting this drone for the first time, like price point and whatever, and it's an excellent investment. But get in an open area. Get really out in the open so you can see it go. Never let it go out of sight. Don't do things silly. Don't try to go so high that you can't see it no more. It just doesn't pay. You lose it, and then, you know, then you're done. Now, the other thing you see that isn't on most of these drones is this steel bracket right here. You know, when I go out, I have this probably in the back of my car, and I'll open this up and take the drone out. I won't walk around with this suitcase-looking thing. They may think I have a bomb to chase me down. I don't know. But I love the case, but I don't necessarily like to walk around with it to find a spot that I want to fly. So I'll drive somewhere that I want to fly. I'll grab this. I can grab this in the drone with one hand and carry it, and anything else, maybe the platform that I do for the home point takeoff thing. So I'll do it like that, so this makes it much easier to do, much easier to control. The other nice thing about this cover, I can put this on, I can take my props, I can put this right next to it, and I can get all set up in the back of my car before I even take off, you know. And then that way, when I take off, I'm all set to go. I got batteries in there. I may put one battery in my pocket or something if I'm going out for a while, but most of the time, I will not. I will just take off, go fly, go to another spot, go fly, but that's all there is to it. So that works out well. Now, this wasn't hard to do, though. What I figured out, this is like a cabinet you can get from Menards or Home Depot, a cabinet lock, and then you drill the 2 holes. You may have to grind it down a little bit to get the screws not too long in there and work tight. But, you know, it's a big improvement. As silly as it is, it's a big improvement in how it works. Yeah, I like that for sure. One thing about the props on this is good and bad. You need to have them balanced. Now, there's a number of balancing prop apparatuses that you can have. And in another video, if anybody is interested in it, just ask me and I'll make one on how to balance your props either with homemade DIY item or buying one that I think is real good to work with. And I bought one because I have a number of props that can be balanced, so it made it worthwhile for the investment. But a balanced prop will actually take away any jello that you might get. And if you don't know what jello is, it's sort of a screen going like this, vibration from the propeller being off balance. So that's the basics. Now, the only other little thing I got is I do have a strap here. If I wanted to hang on around my neck, I have a strap here that I can put through my wrist, you know, and hold it so I wouldn't lose it or drop it or something if I was running, that kind of thing. So basically that's it. So if you've been thinking about getting this drone, and I know there's a lot of competition and a lot of good competition, but I tell you what, this still holds its own. If you can get it and get it at a good price, I've seen it as low as $150. I know the new model has, I think what they call it the A model. It's with an X on it on the front. That is pretty much all Wi-Fi, has a different controller. You use your phone with it and that. But you know what? That's one of the advantages that I like about this drone. I don't have to grab my phone. I don't have to grab anything else to go with it. I can take off. It's here. I don't have to grab a cable. I don't have to do anything. I grab this, I grab that, and I go out flying. Now that's nice. That's really very nice. Well, hopefully this helped, and I encourage you to maybe take a chance on the Hubsan 501S. I like it. I think you might too. Thanks for watching.